Hi, I'm Michelle, and I love pottery. I also love the animated series The Great North, and it's official. It's been canceled. So I'm glad I'm doing this, and we're in the home stretch of throwing the Tobin family's mugs. Today I'm going to be throwing Judy's mug. It looks a little bit like a wine glass. No, wait, let me go back. Judy's mug is my favorite. This mug is the reason that I started noticing that the Tobin family all have their own coffee mugs. Um, Judy was sitting on the roof talking to Alanis Morissette, her imaginary friend, and she had this cute little wine glass shaped mug with a kind of rainbow handle. It was sky blue with clouds and a little yellow sun on it, and I was in love. I had to make it. I don't even think I was making pottery at that moment, but that was when I started taking pictures of the mugs and paying attention to when they were visible in the frame. So anyway, Judy's mug is the only one that has a visible foot. So we'll be sure to trim that, leave plenty of room when we're throwing, and trim that out real well next week when we do the trimming. But for today, I need to make it. So let's get to work. Okay, we're starting with a 700-gram ball of brown standard stoneware clay. I am really disappointed that The Great North got canceled. It has been my comfort show for years. It came out, gosh, a little before, maybe during lockdowns with COVID. And that was a rough time for all of us. And The Great North was just such a gentle show. They were so kind to each other. I love their dynamic, the family. They were sweet to each other without being corny and cheesy. They looked out for each other, but still had their own interests and personalities. And the humor, the writing on the show, they would really zig when you thought they were going to zag. They talked about the cake lady who got arrested for cooking the books. And you think she's going to go one way with the joke, and they go another way, and it happens so often. I just loved it. You think they're going to say one thing, and like someone passed away at a hot dog eating contest. And you're expecting them to say because he choked on hot dogs. But in reality, it was because the runner-up shot him. I don't know why. That just was just my kind of humor. It was funny and unexpected without being mean or crass or anything like that. Voice actors. I mean, if Great North is my comfort show, Nick Offerman might be my comfort human being. It's just such a good series, and it's not the kind of families you get to see on TV very often. So, all of that said, Judy is another of the terrific characters on The Great North. She's voiced by yet another amazing actor, Jenny Slate, who you might also know from Parks and Rec as the worst person ever, Mona Lisa Saperstein. Jenny Slate's a lot of fun, very talented actor. Judy is a lot of fun as a character, also a talented actor. She has an imaginary friend, Alanis Morissette, who lives in the sky as an aurora borealis shaped like Alanis Morissette. And she is, of course, voiced by the singer
And Judy will go out her window and sit on the roof and talk to Alanis and kind of run her challenges by her imaginary friend and work through some problems, some boy troubles or school issues, talk about things that are coming up, like dances or events that happen in the small town. Compressing down the space. I want to have a nice thick foot so I can show that visible foot. And I'm going to pull the walls up some more. But Judy is a creator, a maker. She's an actor and a musician, singer. She's an artist. She also loves throwing parties where there's just these elaborate things that the guests have to do. Like in one party, everyone had to start their own newspaper and write columns and articles, and by the end of it they would go around and read their newspapers. And she had kind of an elaborate murder mystery dinner. She's just very creative, very dramatic, and a sweet person. In one episode, she actually took a pottery class, and whoop whoop. And her first pots looked like most of her first pots do. Very lumpy, very off-centered. It was actually like unusable. It had a hole in it, and Beef, bless his heart, he was, "Oh, what a great mug, Judy. Thank you so much for this coffee mug. I'll just drink out of this hole in the bottom." And she kept coming home with different cups and plates and things for the family. And at a certain point, she decided that dishes maybe weren't her thing. So she started making home goods like a vase and a picture frame and these candle holders for the family. And they were still pretty rough, but she made them with love, and the family, appreciated it. But like at a certain point, they said, "Well, we can't keep getting these mugs and plates and things. We need to tell the pottery teacher that she's not going to do it anymore. She's not going to take pottery classes anymore." Oh, I almost forgot the best part. Judy made these. She started making ceramic clothing. So she made him a pair of shorts with the word "Salamin" on the pockets. So, let me know in the comments if I should make Judy's collection of ceramics for my next series. But anyway, the family went to the pottery to tell the teacher that she wasn't going to be taking this class anymore. And he was kind of like, "I'm not really sure what you're talking about, but hey, have you ever thrown on the wheel? Would you like to try this clay?" And they all touched the lump of clay and fell in love immediately and enjoyed the pottery class, started making their own lumpy pieces of pottery. So it's kind of a sweet episode, and fun watching them do what I love to do. So I've got this cup shaped. It's coming out here. You can see out a bit on the base, and it's in a little bit more at the top. I'm going to bring this top part in just a touch more and kind of straighten the sides out so it's more of a taper. Okay, it's starting to look good. I'm going to trim the foot so you can see it. It is a fairly tall cup. I am going to trim a little bit off the top, just a little. Okay, I'm just going to clean the base and do one last cleanup of the form and take a look at how it's looking compared to Judy's mug. Got nice rounded at the bottom, comes in a little bit at the top. Got plenty of room here for the foot, and I'm ready to move on to Moon's mug next. Get that thrown, and then next week we'll start trimming and attaching handles, and they'll really start coming together. So I'm excited for that. Thanks for joining me, and hopefully I'll see you on Friday. Bye.